Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference. This press conference is on the Iceland, French and Denmark film Paris of the North, which is part of the official selection competition. I would like to welcome the delegation. Please allow me if I mispronunciate these names. They are quite complicated for me. We have the director, Hafstein Gunnar Sigurdsson, the main actress, Nanna Kristin Magnusdottir, and two main male actors, Helgi Björns and Björn Thors. And then we also have the scriptwriter, Huldar Björnfot, and also the producer, Thor Sigurjonsson. Hopefully I didn't mispronunciate your names too much. Hopefully they sounded at least a little bit like your real names. And now I would like to pass the floor to my colleagues to ask what they found interesting about this film. Mirka Spachilová. Good afternoon. I would like to thank you for the film because for me it was the strongest experience so far. So thank you very much. And I have a question for the director. We've noticed that there are many films in the main competition talking about people from remote areas in the world, people who hide themselves somewhere in the middle of nowhere in remote areas. So I would like to ask, have you also noticed this tendency, this trend that people are not so much interested in stories in big cities, but are more interested in stories about remote cities? And could you also tell us more about the location, about the environment, because it is something a little bit exotic for us.
Thank you. No, I haven't really noticed the trend, but it's interesting. This town is called Flateyri. It's in the west fjords of Iceland, and yeah, it's an area that I'm very drawn to. It's a very beautiful area, part of Iceland, and Huldar, the writer, he has a house there. And I think we were very interested to shoot a film in this town because it's visually very interesting, and it was it felt like the right setting for this story. Should I say something else?
How many inhabitants?
Yes, it's a town of 150 people. And it's a very multinational community. It has Polish, Filipino, Thai, Icelanders all living in a big harmony at the end of the world.
Thank you very much. Another question. I would like to join my colleague and thank you. I think this is the best film we've seen so far in the official selection, in my opinion. And I would like to ask you, how did you work with the actors? Their acting is very natural. It helps the film a lot. And you have a young boy on the set. Did you rehearse in advance, or did you let them improvise? How did you work with them? Did you rehearse in advance? And so how was your approach?
Yeah, thank you. I also think the actors are doing a fantastic job on this film, and they were all really great to work with, very talented, good people, and filmmaking is nothing without the actors. They are the meat in the film, and we did a lot of preparation. We rehearsed in the city for a week before we went to that town. And then we spent 1 week before shooting rehearsing on the locations. And this is something that I've done before and I like to do, and I think it's very helpful for everybody to come and get used to the environment and just become a part of the environment. And yeah, they can maybe tell you more.
Yes, Haddi has a real quality for making a relaxed atmosphere in the work.
Huh? Yeah, he's talking on the phone.
Yeah, of course. Sorry. No, he has his working methods, as he said himself. He rehearses a lot, and for an actor, that makes the working environment really relaxed and pleasurable. So you kind of know where you're heading when you start out the shooting period.
And I think I mean, some directors don't want to rehearse at all and want to keep the moment fresh and whatever. I don't really believe it. We had a fantastic script, which was a lot of fun to explore, and I think we discovered a lot of things, during the rehearsing period, talking about scenes and trying out different things, and I hope it, pays off in the film.
It was also very nice to spend time in Flateyri before shooting, because it's a very different atmosphere than from Reykjavik. So you have to go like in the mood and do a little research about the people that live in this town. It's a very different culture, different fashion, different life. So that was really good, and I think Helgi and Björn and Hatti went to Flateyri during some months or weeks before, just to spend time there and get the feeling. So we wanted to make this true to the people that live in Flateyri, and I think it worked out really well.
And Helgi is actually from the next town originally, Ísafjörður.
And it's a sad story about this town actually, because it's declining into. It was a lively fish industry there, in the from the year first, and since 25 years it's been declining because of the quota system of fish industry in Iceland. But I don't want to go too deep into that, But it's But I think this is happening all over the world. That small towns don't have a chance anymore. So everybody's moving into the big cities. So I think this is also a part of the story that we are telling. It's how few people can make a community. It's and how they have to deal with different situations, regarding how few people are there. As you can see in the film, for instance, in the AA meetings, it's like everybody knows each other very well. So it's difficult to talk about sort of personal things, So it's
Děkuji, prosím, paní kolegyně.
Hello, Eva Přiřa from Festival Daily. You are in the main competition here, and films from Northern Europe have quite a good record in Karlovy competition. So I'd like to ask, maybe not only the director, because you've been here before. So what kind of name has Karlovy Film Festival in Iceland, and do you know about it, and where you're looking forward to come? Maybe because you could hope that your film can do quite good here. Thanks.
Producer?
Yes, of course. I've been here before with the film, and it was a pleasant experience 10 years ago. And then we also had an Icelandic film called Jar City, which won the main prize. So it's obviously important for us in the launch of the film in our country. And the Karlovy Festival is very well known in the local press. So all positive for us.
Děkuji, já bych se vrátila ještě k
I'd like to get back to the topic of the film, which is also alcoholism. In the Nordic states, it is often a topic, even the Icelandic states, it is often a topic, alcoholism. So do you think it is the issue of the remoteness or the harsh nature or the lack of sun? Is this the reason for alcoholism in the north, this phenomenon? Lack of sun, or remoteness, harsh nature, harsh landscape?
I think this is a question for the writer who wrote this thing into the film.
Yeah, I can't really explain the alcoholism in the north. I'm sorry. But it's definitely an issue, and it's always an issue, and there are usually many alcoholics around each and everyone in the Nordic countries. So it's, but I can't explain why the drinking habits are like they are. I'm sorry about that. I'm not even going to try to do that.
But I'm an alcoholic, light, I'm a light alcoholic.
I'm a drinker.
But maybe it's because of the sort of like hunting society from the way back. You know, it was always like, you know, you had to survive, and then you got some fish, and then you had to sort of like, yeah, it's survivalism in the north. I think it's maybe a part of it. I don't know.
Keep you warm.
Keep you warm. Yeah. The cold.
But I think it's better to ask the Finns about this. You know.
Děkuji. Tak po odlehčené otázce prosím další, paní Spáčilová.
Mrs. Spáčilova? Perhaps a more serious question. I remember once we were talking about the Nordic states, especially Icelandic states, why they are so popular in the Czech Republic. We talked about it with Fredriksson, and he said that we have a similar sense of humor. And he said 3 suicides is just about enough for one comedy. So would you also describe the closeness of Czech and Icelandic humor? Do you think they are really close?
Well, what is Czech humor like?
Huldar?
Yeah, that's another topic that I don't know too much about. But I think it's, yeah, I mean, Icelandic humor is kind of dark, ironic, and Czech humor is that for me also. So I think there are definitely, yeah, they're similar in ways. Czech, Icelandic, Finnish humor maybe.
Yeah, because in other countries sometimes when you are ironic, you are just really rude. But in Czech you're not, you're just funny. So.
I remember with my last film, traveling, when I was showing it in the northern part of the world, people were laughing their ass off, and as more south I went, they were laughing much less. I don't know if they're more dramatic down there, I don't know. And then the east, yeah, they laugh also.
I guess it's a topic you talk about Fredriksson and other Icelandic filmmakers. There are popular topics in filmmaking like alcoholism and isolation and mental instability, and so I guess that's a part of it.
And also, I mean, also the humor in the early Milos Forman films. It's very, you know, it could easily be Icelandic.
Yeah.
It's something we like a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Děkuji, prosím. Pan kolega tam ještě o tom paní kolegyně. Tak Štefán Vrašťák a potom paní kolegyně.
Okay. For me, I must say this is the best film I have seen so far in the official selection, so I keep my fingers crossed for you. And if you don't win the main award, at least the Best Actor award should be yours. And I would like to ask about the jogging, the running. It was so authentic. So how did you shoot it? The running scenes, they were so authentic. And the name, Paris of the North, the title. So what is the Paris in the film? What does the title mean?
It was just running. It was just literally chasing the camera truck for 3 days. running 30 kilometers in Flateyri during the shooting of the running sequences. It was just. And actually the opening sequence is a really complex shot, probably one of the most complex shots in the film, and it just had to be shot in one part. So it was it was a big celebration when we got it in the box.
We did it 3 times, and I think it was 1 kilometer or something. Yeah.
And Hatti kept telling me that he had done the same thing in preparation.
I did. I tried to run this myself, and but the best thing is that it was the 3rd time the take that we're using, and you can see he's getting a little bit tired, you know, and
exhausted.
Yeah,
let's say exhausted.
Yeah. So I think this is something you can't fake. You know, you just have to do it. And luckily, Bjössi is a well-tempered man, and he you know, was bearing with us.
And it was also very tricky because it had a dialogue in the end, so it was not just him running and then cut because he had to run, and then he had to have a little scene with me, so it was...
Yeah. And they did great. The title, we struggled a little bit with the title for this film, and this is a title that came up, I think, just while we were shooting, and as you can see, it's clearly not the Paris of the North, this town, and but it has this. It's a melting pot of many nationalities, like I mentioned before, and then you have this romance, strange romance in this film. It's a love story also, and it just felt right, Hildar?
Yeah, I think it's in a way it is the Paris of the North, you know, and whatever that means. What is that, Paris of the North? So I mean, for me, it's some kind of a state of mind.
At the time, there was a line. One character kind of looks over the fjord, and describes the scenery as the Paris of the North. This exaggerated natural beauty, the surroundings of this little, may I say, horrible town in a way.
With this surrounded by romantic nature.
And beautiful at the same time. So it's these contrasts also make the kind of title cling, I think at least, bring a certain cling to it, romance.
Prosím, paní kolegyně.
I have two questions for the director. First is that you've been here 2 years. You were here 2 years ago with your film Either Way, and it got quite short American remake. So how did you like Prince Avalanche?
I liked it. I liked it very much. I was just very curious to see what when David, the director, approached me with this idea. I was just very curious to see what he would do with the material, and of course he's doing it totally in his way, but he's at the same time very true to the original film, and I liked it, and you might see even more versions of it in the future.
Of Either Way?
Yes, we have more ideas about keep exploring this story in different countries in the world.
And second question is if you can explain your interest in the characters of emotionally handicapped men, which is in the PR materials as well.
I think we are all emotionally handicapped, and somehow we have to deal with it. And I think I just want to say to other men, it's okay to be emotionally handicapped. We are all, and it's not. It doesn't have to be a problem, you know. You just have to be aware of it and be nice to your neighbors.
Prosím, další otázku, kdo má?
Another question? Here in the first row. I have a question for Mr. Björn Tors. After such dark drama, aren't you feeling playing some Italian comedy, something light, or are you interested to Hollywood? Because I think Icelandic film cannot offer you big production, so.
Sure, why not? Is it such a really dark drama, Paris of the North? I don't know. It's a kind of has a light comedy touch to it. Even some could say commercial touch. The irony of the film kind of overtakes the dramatic parts of it in a way. But yeah, it's a quite, in a way you could say it's a dull character, the lead character. But he has these characters surrounding him, which kind of bring up the quality of the comedy of the film. I have been working abroad also, so if more parts abroad appear, so be it. But I like working in Icelandic films and telling local stories and working in local films and television. I love it. I also work in the theater, and we all do. So it helps to kind of work in different mediums, telling different kinds of stories, and working in comedy and drama on either way. So. Yeah.
Děkuji. Moje další otázka.
Thank you very much. I have a question for the script writer. If we look at the main male characters, none of them is really a grown-up man, mentally, emotionally grown-up man. Even the father of the 10-year-old boy, he says he doesn't feel adult, he doesn't feel mature enough to be a father. So when you look at the male characters, or when you look at all the characters, isn't the female character the biggest man, actually?
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. I mean, Hatti came to me with an idea, and I wasn't sure whether or not to be flattered, you know, given his reputation for liking handicapped, emotionally handicapped men. But he wanted to do a father and a son story, and that's a very strong motive and a theme throughout the film, which we are exploring in few ways, and. So I think all the for me she is not okay, and you know, or some kind of a healthy person or a normal person. She is one more person with her problems. I think they all have their problems, and I think me and the director, we were thinking mostly about the father and son elements, and we were not really comparing men and women in that kind of a way. But that's how it turned out in the film. But I think we never really, we were never thinking about the characters like that, like, you know, comparing the man to this woman. She's just one of the character gallery of characters with flaws, different flaws.
Mm-hmm. Děkuji, prosím, tady. Děkuji.
I have a question for the father. How is it sensed in Icelandic culture if one of the biggest Icelandic actors shows his penis on film?
Well, I'm hoping that this will, you know, increase my respect, you know, in the field, and this was a little bit of an issue between me and the director. But if it's blue enough, then it's okay.
Děkuji, prosím, pan Vrašťák a potom.
Já bych se chtěl
I would like to pay my tribute to the script writer. The story was amazing. You had amazing ideas. I will remember those scenes for years. For instance, a dog from Thailand, or a little note, or the trip on the mountain, and a 10-year-old goalkeeper. These were just tiny things that I remember, and I will probably remember them for a long time. They brought me to tears. They were just beautiful.
It's really nice for us to hear this. We are, of course, at the moment wondering how the film translates to other cultures and countries. So thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was no question in there, right? Or, no. Okay.
Prosím, další otázka, pokud tady nějak.
Is there any other question? Mirka Spáčilová from Mladá Fronta Daily again.
Yeah, a couple of questions. First of all, to Hofstede, you've done a couple of movies about emotionally crippled men. When will the movie about an emotionally crippled woman come?
Oh, I don't know. I would like to. I don't have the story yet, but I think it in the future, definitely.
And the second question, could you tell us a bit about the band that covers the film, Prince Polo?
Yeah, Prince Polo is one of my favorite musicians and a good friend, and Huldar and I talked about that this music would sort of really fit the tone of the film. It's fun, a bit melancholic, catchy. You know, it kind of, you know, just really fit the story. And they came actually, the band, to the set, and they spent a week with us, and you know, created some music that ended up in the film. Some of it, not all. And yeah, and he's just a fantastic guy. He's a farmer in the east of Iceland and makes vegetable hot dogs and great music.
Děkuji. Prosím další otázky, pokud jsou.
And perhaps I would like to ask the director. You are a teacher at the university. You're teaching directing and script writing. So, where do you think Icelandic cinematography is headed? What is the future development of Icelandic and current development of Icelandic cinematography?
I think Icelandic film is in a very interesting place at the moment. Icelandic cinema is very young. We had the first, you know, feature production just made in 1978 or 7. It's just as old as I am, and so it's young. There's a lot left to do. We are, you know, only about to get to the kind of teenage stage, and there are a lot of new talents emerging in Iceland, and there are a lot of stories that are left to tell, and I think you will, you know, see a lot more interesting stuff coming out of Iceland in the next years.
Takže děkuji, pokud nemáte.
Well, thank you very much. Unless you have any other questions, I would like to thank the delegation. We keep our fingers crossed, and we hope to see you here soon again in the future as well. Thank you.